Hello and welcome back to the Contemplation Cafe. This is Paul, your host, and as always, inviting you to come inside, pull up a chair, and have a think or two. Today, we're going to talk about some current-ish events. We're going to talk about biochips, digital dollars, and the mark of the beast. They're all related. So we're going to start with the last one first. Revelation 13, 16, and 17. In this case, this is the false prophet. So it's the right hand man, or right hand person, I guess we got to say now, of the Antichrist. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And of course, we know it's 666. So Antichrist is going to control everything. One world government, one world religion, one world everything. So in order to control part of the economics is to control you and control me, control our behavior, what we do, where we go, how we do it. And in early 2000s, a little thing called a biochip was created or invented, we're going to say it. And they wanted to put them in people for various reasons. An easy one would be, for example, if foreign diplomats were kidnapped overseas somewhere, they could be tracked down. That was one of the big primary pushes for doing the biochips, was for things like that. FDA said, sure, as long as you don't put medical records on those, not a problem. A couple years later, they reversed course and said, yeah, you can store medical records on there too. So now you have a chip about the size of a grain of rice, and you can put it right here in the fatty part of your hand, and there actually is a fatty area right here in your forehead that could be injected in there, so it's not irritating, it's not visible, and it's a little RFID technology. You can be tracked anywhere in the world. That's why now with pets, you can chip your pets. It's the same technology. Chip your pet, they get lost, find them anywhere in the world. Hey, it's great, it's awesome. Well, this is part of a technology that's going to allow the Antichrist to control everyone. Just imagine, if you got one of those chips in your hand to your forehead, you can go anywhere and be tracked or be followed. By the same token, you can also be prohibited from going places. Just like here, you can't buy or sell without that mark. What that really means is you can't do anything without having the mark. And then obviously if the government doesn't like you or you cause too much commotion, they can restrict your access to those things just by going doot. So we're going to talk about that. I got a couple articles here I'm just going to read. Let's do from NPR. This is from 2017, July 25th. Wisconsin company offers to implant chips in its employees. Wisconsin company is offering to implant tiny radio frequency chips in its employees, and it says they're lining up for the technology. The idea is a controversial one, confronting issues at the intersection of ethics and technology by essentially turning bodies into barcodes. 3 Square Market, also called 32M, says it's the first U.S. company to provide the technology to its employees. The company manufactures self-service micro markets for office break rooms. It is said in a press release that obtaining a chip is optional, but it expects that about 50 employees will take part. Employees who have the rice grain-sized RFID chip implanted between their thumb and forefinger can then use it to make purchases in their break room micro market, open doors, log into computers, use the copy machine, 32M said. The CEO, Todd Westby, said that the company believes the technology will soon be ubiquitous. We foresee the use of RFID technology to drive everything from making purchases in our office break room market, opening doors, use of copy machines, logging into our office computers, unlocking phones, sharing business cards, storing medical health information, and used as payment at other RFID terminals. Eventually, this technology will become standardized, allowing you to use this as your passport, public transit, all purchasing opportunities, etc. What? That sounds kind of familiar. Where have we heard that before? I'm having a deja vu moment. Then, of course, the article goes on. The company's immediately facing questions about safety and privacy. For example, whether the technology could be used in invasive ways like tracing employee whereabouts and monitoring the length of breaks. The chip is not trackable and only contains information you choose to associate it with it, the company said in a Q&A. This chip does not have GPS capabilities. It added that the device has been FDA approved for some 13 years. Let's see here. And it goes on about chips and body hacking and things. So that's pretty much how the article goes. Number 2. Now, remember we just said we're going to buy and sell. We can use that little deal. Well, how exactly is that going to work? And here's one way. I'm sure that you've all heard by now the term cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, whatever. Well, these digital currencies are cool for those that they're like the cool hip thing, right? They're not very stable. They have no intrinsic value, so these market valuations go up and down. But the interesting thing is, when these first came out, who paid attention? The banks paid attention. Why? Because they can't control them. So now you have a threat coming in from these little startup cryptocurrency companies. And if you marry them onto something like a Facebook or other social media, you basically have people now becoming their own banks. You kind of have that now with the Venmos and things like that, where it's direct peer-to-peer monetary transactions, and the government's completely out of it. So now the banks don't like it because they can't control it, and the government doesn't like it because they can't regulate it. But you'll be happy to know the Federal Reserve has been hard at work. This is an article from MSN called Why Does the Federal Reserve Need a Digital Currency? Ta-da! Digital money is nothing new. Debit and credit cards have been with us for years. What's changed is its pervasiveness. With fewer people carrying paper money, and with some places no longer accepting it, we've become ever more reliant on electronic cash provided by commercial institutions from PayPal to Visa. As physical cash goes away, so do the properties that make it special. Cash allows people to transact without a bank account, without fees, without a middleman in the way of their access to the currency issued directly by the central bank, the lender of last resort and the bedrock of the financial system. Is it time for America's central bank to create a digital dollar? And Congress was asking, on July 27th, they were holding some hearings, and they certainly tried to outline the reasons why. One of them, of course, was a digital dollar could be a new tool for monetary policy. So they're saying, hey, it's going to be a good thing. Here's another one to understand. China is already far along in developing a digital currency, and that's true. They're about to roll that out. So what are the upsides? The upsides are, obviously, now everyone can have access to banking services. You could reach every person in your state, city, country. You could reach everybody. So now, instead of having people that they call underserved or unserved or unbanked, now everyone's banked. So you marry digital dollars or some other digital currency with these biochips. Ta-da! Don't you have a system in place for can't buy or sell, can't travel, can't nothing without all of this stuff? And then again, when you marry it all together, now if you do something wrong, the government doesn't like you, now with a push of a button, they can cut you off from your money. Not only can they stop you from traveling and from going places, they can cut you off from your money. Sounds kind of scary, doesn't it? It sounds a bit sci-fi, but now it's real. It's right here in front of us. And this is what we're facing today. This is the now. We're getting so close now to what was already foretold was going to happen. It's now going to happen. And the question is just how soon is it going to happen? So I just wanted to bring these things to light so you can be aware, if you weren't already, that once again, all these pieces are falling into place. Bible prophecy is all starting to come together, and it's happening in our lifetime. It's happening now. So I'm certainly persuaded that we are the terminal generation. We will see the Antichrist come out of wherever he's going to come from and rise up on the world scene and take over. And we're also going to see the Lord Jesus coming on the clouds with great glory to rapture his people out of here. And then, of course, those of us who rapture out of here are going to get to watch the wrath of God being poured out from heaven's bleacher stands, and we're going to have cold beverages and popcorn and whatever else they have up there. For people down here, going to be one rough ride, because you have to go through the wrath of man, wars and rumors of wars, and there's going to be famine and sickness and disease and food scarcity. Aren't we seeing that one already? Interesting. And then we're going to see the wrath of the devil, and that's going to come at the hands of Antichrist and his false prophet as they institute the one world government. It's going to be tyrannical, right? Because he's going to come in and proclaim himself to be God and sit in the temple and demand to be worshipped as God. And those that don't worship him, he's going to hunt down and kill. And people who don't take the mark can't do anything. So we're seeing it all come together. So a little bit exciting and a little bit scary at the same time. So for those of you who are believers, who are born again, who've put your trust in the Lord Jesus Christ, going to be a bit of a whitewater rapids ride for us. I hope the pre-tribulation rapture people have it right. That's all I got to say, because it's going to be a rough ride. For those of you who are not born again, this is your time. I'm going to say it again. This is your time. This is your opportunity. Today, while it's called today, don't harden your heart against the Lord. And please go back to the Square One video and watch that. Listen to the message again. Come with an open mind. Trust but verify. Agree to disagree without being disagreeable if you must. But I can't beg you enough that you really just need to get it right with God today while it's still today. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. You could wind up 6 feet under tomorrow. It just happens. Happens all the time. But be mindful that this is happening, folks. So, a little food for thought. Wanted to bring some current events to you to contemplate and think about. And that being said, thanks for stopping by the Contemplation Cafe. We'll see you again next time.